This is a brush painting for beginners, Ling Chi from Oriental Art Supply. First, a little bit things that I like to mention. If you like our video, please like underneath the video and also leave us comment. This will encourage us to continue to do more and also to have an understanding what would you like to have in the future. And then in the meantime, the material list I used in this particular video will be listed under the video. And this particular video is a desert scene. Is an interpretation from a photograph. A lot of times that's kind of tricky. You would like to do everything on the photograph, and then actually photograph will do a better job than what you're painting. So we is scaled down on some of the element, but still depicting the idea of this particular scene. And I have two are finished and mounted. Left one is without very much wash, and then the right one is with a complete wash. And the paper I'm using is the Vintage Pi Paper, and I'm using two brushes. One is a 3-inch wash brush. One is our Lotus Petal brush. You can substitute the Lotus Petal with large flow or large mountain horse. One you're going to find out is a lot more, hold more moisture, the large flow. So you will have a harder time to get the texture. And then the mountain horse large will give you more texture than this brush. I choose this brush. The Lotus Petal is have enough body, doesn't hold too much moisture, so can give us a dry and wet look all with one brush. So I'm keeping the material as simple as I can. And the color I'm using, the Bright Light watercolor, which is a budget friendly watercolor. I'm showing you the palette I have. I used the burnt sienna from the tube and add a little bit of best bottle ink to make it tone down some. And then I have an ochre. This is a little bit trickier. So it's yellow, indigo, burnt sienna, and vermilion to get this color I wanted. You can see that I have two puddles because it's kind of hard to get what I want. And then I have two blues. One is the sky blue. I also toned down with the best bottle ink. I use the best bottle ink because it marries the best with the color without being gritty. And on this, I use the indigo, add ink to it. And then last, the purple, I use a little bit. So I use the indigo with ink and add rouge and to get this purple. So now I'm going to get started. Oh, I also have some Sakura White. That will add a little bit deserty color and softer than just all the other color by itself. So I'm wetting my brush completely and then I'm stroking it dry. So I'm loading the Sakura White like a milk type of consistency. And then I rinse the tip off. The reason I rinse the tip off, so I won't have too much opaque white. And then I load the burnt sienna pre-mixed with ink. And then I'm dipping the ink. And then I circle my brush tip to blend it. That's one thing that a lot of beginners forget. So make sure that you blend your brush. Then about less than half from the bottom, I'm going to do my first area of the rock formation.
Can you talk a little bit about that brush technique?
Yes. So I'm using the tip of the brush and laying almost horizontal to the paper. And so I use the dark on the one side and then I'm fading it away. Now I'm tip my ink again. So I'm adding more texture. Again, that I'm using, the brush is maybe 15 degrees to the paper. So whenever I have two areas of the shape, I don't make sure that I have one small one, one large one. So they are not the same size. And then I add a little bit more interesting things on. So this is my first formation of rock. And then I'm cleaning my brush and then I'm adding more white and then burnt sienna, and I'm tipping ink. So I'm having the second group of rocks underneath. So then I'm going on my left side. The same color formation, I'm using white, burnt sienna, and I'm tipping the ink. So in here, we are still using the same technique. This is longer, this group on this side, a little bit lower, shorter. So this is my host, and then I have my guest here. Have a little purple from the original painting I marked up. I will do that later on. So then I'm rinsing my tip of my brush off. I again load some white, wash the tip off, and then I'm loading some of this ochre. And then tip with brown. So now I'm kind of doing the more to the ground of the desert. Add some of this color on this side. So originally there are some photograph, some dark pebbles. So I'm using ink to express that. And there are some white pebbles too. So some of these white area I left is to representing the white pebbles. So can you notice that all my 3 area are different size and different shape? So I avoid that monotonously shape. So I also more interesting shape on the top. All right, then I'm cleaning my brush completely. So I'm going to use white again on my brush. And I rinse the tip. And then I will load the navy blue tone I have made it earlier. And then I will tip with the bright blue. So I make sure that there's enough color variation, but not so bright. So I want you to notice that I have a lot of texture look. So make sure if you use flow brush, your brush is not too wet. If it's too wet, you're not going to see that. So this is like a way mountain in the desert. And on this side, I'm going to do a more fainted one, but smaller. So like I said, make sure that you are always one larger area, one small area. So. So now I'm using some fainted blue underneath here. So now I'm using the purple. So I also want to make sure this purple is very light, fainted. So I will do that. Again, I want you to see that big area, small area. So then I will do a little bit. So now I'm using my 3-inch washer brush and use some of what left on the palette to soften this area up. A little bit navy blue and a little bit ink. So I'm using the clear water to soften all this area up. So this is my blue area, so I want to make sure that I didn't like as much the texture look as the top, so all right. So you can see that the washes is coming in from both sides, but not close in the middle. So the middle is still pretty light white. And if you're doing at home, you want to wait until the paint on this is completely dry. So I'm a little bit premature. So hopefully I can soften this up. So that's where the running is. So if I'm doing it at home, you'll wait until this mountain is a little dry. So then underneath, I'm going to use the ochre I had before. And I start washing it. So I'm also washing this side toward the center. Leave the center, some of the area open. So you can see that my stroke is not overlapping. So I have some white area to show the depth. Okay, this is my desert scene, and happy painting. I see you next time.